Hi, this is Kiana Miner. Welcome to the Crazy Courage webinar, where we are busting success myths and learning how to live more courageously. Today, I'm super excited. We are going to be talking with Janet Kafadar. And Janet is a business coach. She's also a mom of two little ones. And she has this great quote on her website that I'm going to share with you that I think really describes what she does. When she talks about business, she says it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. And I think that that is such a great quote for business because sometimes, to be successful, even in our personal lives and in our businesses, it's not that we need to change everything. It's just that we need to make a few tweaks. We need to be more efficient. We need to change our positioning. So I love that quote from her website. Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, and you are in Australia right now, right?
That's right. So I'm in
Okay.
Australia. I'm actually British. I've been living here for about 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I live in Australia with my family and my two little kids.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm so glad that we have technology like Skype where I can be in Washington, D.C., and you're in Australia and we can still connect.
I know, it's amazing. I think that's what blows me away all the time about my job, just in general, being able to still work with people on the other side of the globe. And I live in Australia and I can still work around my family. Yeah, it's mind blowing. 20 years ago, yeah, let's say about 20 years ago, this wasn't even possible.
That's
Well,
true.
not as much as it is now. So it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that is true. Do you have clients from all over the world?
Yeah, I do. From all over, so from Canada and the US mostly, and a couple of people in the UK, but not as many in Australia, which is weird. So
Yeah, that's
if there's
kind of
anyone in
funny.
Australia watching, come on over. Let's work together.
So tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah. So I help service providers create online products and programs,
Okay.
really to help leverage their time and
Mm-hmm.
their income, but not just create something that's a bit blah and that's something that's just been cobbled together, but really create something that aligns with their brand and also is well structured and is well considered and well thought of,
Okay.
grounded in learning and development. So I spent 4 years really, or probably about 3 years, sorry, and working with large government departments here in Australia,
Oh, wow.
helping to create uh, leadership programs, performance development, and strategic team building programs as well. So it was really for us about creating something that's engaging, something that people can learn from, really thinking outside the box. I was lucky that I had an employer that really pushed us to kind of push those boundaries, and people loved our programs as a result of it. So I'm transferring those skills that I learned in my corporate job, which I loved, to be able to help people to really leverage their time and create programs and products that are amazing. There's so many programs that I've attended and bought that are just like blah.
Right.
I really wish I hadn't have spent
Right.
$500 on that. That was nothing. I haven't learned anything. So for me, it's really making sure and guiding my clients through that process, because it's scary, going from having, let's say, a brick and mortar business to really venturing into a new space is totally petrifying. So kind of see myself as that guide and that support to really help my clients through that transition. So
Okay. Okay, that sounds amazing. You could you give us an example of like someone you've worked with who used to have a brick and mortar business but kind of transferred some of their expertise online and did really
yes,
well?
yes, yeah, sure. So I have a client at the moment that I'm working with. So it hasn't quite finished yet, and he's a physio,
Okay.
which is different. So he's a physiotherapist, and he's just like, if I have to see another arm, I'm literally gonna lose it. Like I can't massage any more arms. I'm over it.
I used to
So
be a massage therapist, so I know exactly how he feels.
that's right. He's just like, I can't. I love what I do, but I just can't.
hmm Just that burnout,
So
yeah.
me, yeah. So I was like, I'm literally at the point of burnout, and that's mostly the point at which my clients come to me. They're like, I just need to do something different, but I still want to keep doing the same thing. So he works particularly with cyclists. And so I said, why don't you put something together that helps the cyclists, deters them from coming to you at the point that they need to get their back fixed or something like that. You know, why don't you put something together that helps them sit better on their bikes and be more efficient whilst they're cycling, you know, all of those types of things. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So that's what I'm helping him work through at the moment. So really putting something together. So he's got all of these ideas, but he doesn't quite know how to structure them and put them all in place. So that's kind of how I help support and guide him through that process.
That's awesome. So how long have you had this business?
So I've had it I had my first online business, and I worked as a virtual assistant. And I did that while still really small.
Okay.
And he was just a few months old, and I was working in the trenches with my clients, and it was just, it wasn't working. I felt like I was back at my corporate job, but at home.
Right.
So I decided to venture off and do something different altogether and kind of work out what it is that I wanted to do. So I've been doing this, I can say, for about a year. Probably about a year or so, but it's only now that I've really found, okay, this is really what I want to do. It takes that time sometimes to really get to this point.
It does. So what made you leave your corporate job?
Well, I was due to have my son. And I'd already been there for around 3 years, and I thought, you know what, it's really time to do something different. So I decided, okay, right, well, I'm going to go on maternity leave anyway, so might as well use this time to kind of figure out what I'm going to do, leave my job, and then see what happens after that. And yeah, that's the reason why I left. Not because there was anything wrong, but just, you know, it's time for a change.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that sounds like a pretty courageous step, you know, even though you left for sort of maternity reasons, but to stay, you know, to decide that you were going to take a leap and try to have your own business. Would you say that's one of your most courageous moments?
Yeah.
Okay.
By far, one of the scariest as well, because, you know, you're leaving that comfort zone of knowing that you're going to have a salary and, you know, you're going to have a pay packet in the next 2 weeks or something. And I was leaving that, and I was going on maternity leave, and then I suddenly had a baby to support. I was like, oh my God, mortgage to pay for and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was a really big leap, but I kind of knew deep down inside that eventually I'd have my own business, which is really odd. But yeah, I never pursued it all that much, but suddenly I kind of got to a point where I was like, oh my God, right, I'm actually going to do this now and take that leap of faith. I know that all of my family thought I was a bit crazy for actually deciding to do this. Like, yeah, they're like, you're nuts. Why don't you just go and find another job? And I'm like, yeah, I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's funny. I love how you talk about that, sort of having that inner voice that, okay, you knew you were going to have your own business at some point. I was the same way. I know when I was in college, I remember looking at the course catalog and trying to choose a major, and I was like, I don't think my major is in here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, or, you know, my passion is really in one of the, you know, like English or pre-med or pre-law, you know what I mean? And I remember hearing then that I was going to have my own business, but it took years before that actually manifested or whatever. Can you talk about maybe the importance of listening to that inner voice? Like, how important has that been to you in your life?
Yeah, that's been really important, because I think if I hadn't have listened to it, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I'd probably be really miserable, working somewhere that I just want to hang myself. I think what really got me was, you know, I was luckily in the job I had before, I was able to be creative, and I was able to, you know, my employer was great in really allowing us that freedom to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
But it annoyed me that I would never be able to do that for my own business, for myself, or to be able to help more people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I was kind of leading up to my maternity leave with my son, and I was like, actually, you know what? I don't want to make someone else rich. I'm over this.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I kind of thought, well, it's probably better if I do it myself.
Right.
Do something. At the time, I didn't know what that looked like, but yeah. So I think it's really important just to listen to it. If you've got that nagging feeling that's telling you, you should go and do this or look into this a little bit more, then just do it. Take that leap. Mm-hmm. You really don't have anything to lose, because eventually things will work itself out. They always do. Yeah. So you'll feel so much better for trying something than for not doing it. My kind of philosophy is, I don't want to get to later on in life and think, what if? Right. Oh, I should have. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. I really would hate to think that. I know there's so many different things I want to do in my life, but I don't want to get to that point and think, damn, I wish I had started my own business. Mm-hmm. Damn, I wish I hadn't have wasted those 4 years. If you want to do it, just go for it. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. It's just all up in here.
That's so true. I mean, the truth is, if you wanted to go back into corporate, you could. You know what I mean? Like, if you decided, oh gosh, this is such a mistake and I wanted to go back, you could. Now, the truth of the matter is, most entrepreneurs, once we get out, we're like, I'm going to have to make it work. Yeah. I can't go back.
Exactly. Don't make me go back there. I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it. Yeah, you're literally dragged, like kicking and screaming.
So true. If you could kind of go back to that time when you were making that final decision to quit, and you were feeling afraid, you were scared, do you remember some of the things you may have done to kind of build up that courage to do it anyway, even though you were afraid?
Yeah, I think I had I have some close friends that didn't really get it, bless them. My mum and dad and stuff, they didn't quite understand. It's all a bit over their head, online business stuff. They don't understand, which is fine, and I get that. But really talking to my friends about what I was thinking of doing, and really kind of being able to verbalize it, but also finding an online community of like-minded people, I found was just my savior, because it made me feel like I actually wasn't going crazy. Right. and my idea wasn't just like some thing that I'd hashed up out of nowhere. So I think that added support and that added community really helped me feel like, actually, you know what, I can make this work. And it was good to kind of have those people to bounce ideas off and find out about new tools and products and all of that kind of stuff, and do additional learning. So I think for me, it was definitely having that friends and other like-minded entrepreneurs.
Okay, that's awesome. Now you have two little ones at home, so it must be nice that you can work from home and be with them too.
Yeah, it is. It is. I always, when I kind of decided to do this part of my business, I was fearful, I was like, oh my gosh, how's it going to work if I've got, clients in Australia, or if I've got clients overseas, and, it's not going to work out, if I want to work between 9 and 5, etc. Right. And then I thought, actually, well, I don't have to do that. It's my business, so I can actually work in the nighttime. I don't mind. I actually really enjoy it. My clients they're in the US and they're up at this time, so my kids are asleep, but it works really well for me. So it was a real kind of mindset shift for me to be able to think, actually, I don't need to stick within those confined hours. I am actually able to make it work for me and my family. So it was quite a big mindset shift I had to do there.
Okay. Do you feel like that's sort of a constant journey for you? Is having to change your mindset in order to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, like having to get a little bit more creative than what you may have
Yeah.
been? Yeah.
Yeah, so already creative. Like I have like a gazillion ideas like every day. It's just I have to try and channel my focus into like just get that one task finished, and everything else will happen later. But yeah, I find it so difficult. My brain goes so quickly. But yeah, just really making that mindset shift that I am my own boss. I think that's has taken a while to get used to. And even though I used to manage projects and be the project manager, but it's different when you've got a team of people with you. But when it's just you and your VA,
right,
it's a bit like, okay, well, it's hard to kind of get your head around sometimes. But yeah, I do have to kind of remind myself. But it's getting better for sure. It's definitely getting better.
Okay. Could you tell us what your self-care looks like? Like, what do you do to just make sure you maintain your balance?
So for me, it's really about getting outside.
Okay.
I love being outside. If the kids are asleep and it's the middle of the day, I'll take my tablet and I'll go and sit in the garden or something, or I'll just go. Luckily here in Australia, it's really sunny. So even though it's the dead of winter here, it's really sunny and it's really warm. So I'll make sure that I'm outside. In the mornings, after breakfast, my kids and I all go for a really long walk, and we'll go and hike up the reserve and go up there. So yeah, so it's really important for me to get out every single day and make sure that it keeps my brain alive, it keeps it fresh. Even when I'm walking, I'm coming up with new ideas for my business and stuff. And yeah, I think being outside and being active. I would like to be able to go to the gym more, but it's just doesn't happen as much, especially with little kids.
Right.
But yeah, being outside and walking is definitely my thing for sure.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you find that now, as you're kind of getting your groove and you're getting more successful, do you find that now your family is kind of understanding, or are they still kind of like, I really don't know what you do?
Oh, it's a constant battle. Okay. My husband's still like, oh, really? I don't. Yeah. So I think it's just going to be one of those things until I'm maybe uber successful and I'm on Oprah. Actually, Oprah doesn't exist.
I know, right? I still say that too, though. That's so. Maybe like Life Class or something. Yeah. That's funny.
I missed that last bit.
I said maybe you'll show up on Life Class or something on the OWN network. Yeah.
Exactly. That's more like what I meant. But it's I think eventually it will kind of play itself out, and he'll be like, oh yeah, okay, right, I see it now. But I suppose it's still in that really early grassroots stage. So it is a hard concept really to get your head around and wrap your head around. And I suppose for us it's so easy because we're in this space. But I think people who have brick and mortar businesses, my husband's a chef, it's very hard to kind of get to grips with.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good point, because the online space, it feels so huge to me, but when I'm trying to describe it to other people, I can tell that it's still very new concept to have sort of these online businesses and the whole idea of internet marketing. So yeah, I definitely understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that you are still moving forward, even though some people close to you may not necessarily agree with what you're doing. Do you feel like the self-care helps you with that, or what helps you to kind of listen to your inner voice and not care what other people think?
Because it just has to work. I don't care what other people think. Right. For me, it has to work. So there's no ifs, buts, maybe next year. No, it has to work right now. So I don't, whatever people may think, is fine, and that's their own opinion. And it's hard for people to understand, and I don't get upset with them because of that. But for me and how I want to live my life and what I want my family to do, there's a goal in mind for us. So I just don't just like brush it off my shoulder. No, I'm not interested. But yeah, it's hard, and it's hard for people to get their head around. I think maybe when our kids are older, then it'll be a totally different space, and it'll just be the norm. But for us, we're really breaking new ground here, and it's still so early. So it will take some time, and it's just kind of education thing. And I think that's why it's kind of our duty to get out there and tell everyone about it, and kind of re-educate people and kind of open up their eyes. This fabulous thing that we have here, the internet, is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it gets more amazing every year. Like, it's not like it's staying the same. Like, it's constantly changing and evolving, and new technology is popping up. So it's amazing.
That's right. Exactly.
So do you feel successful now?
No.
It's funny. Everyone I've asked that question to says no. Like, everyone. I interviewed Andrew Zenoff, and he's a millionaire. And I asked him the same question. He's like, no. I think that's like the entrepreneurial spirit, Like, no, there's all these other things that I want to do. I still want to move forward. Yeah.
That's right. I far from it. Like, I just don't even. It's funny actually, because I received my first piece of hate mail the other day, yesterday.
Okay.
Whatever. And so she proceeded to go on about my emails and etc. etc. I was like, well, fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I appreciate you even emailing me to tell me. That's great.
Yeah, we all have that moment when we get our first piece of hate mail, and you're like, it's kind of like a welcome.
Exactly. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate to have feedback and actually take it on board. So it was good. So I was telling a girlfriend that I got this piece of hate mail the other day, and she said, "You've made it. You're successful." I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, that's a funny way to look at it. But yeah, I kind of see what you're saying, but I don't feel successful by any means. I still have like so many more things I want to do.
Right. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. Yeah. So if someone was, if they're sitting at home, they're watching this interview, and they're like, online business, that sounds great. I have skills, I have talents. What would you say to them? Like, how do you get started in this space? What are some tips that you would give them?
Yeah, so I would really ask them to think about what they're good at. What do they get excited about doing in their business, And whether, let's say, even if they are the massage therapist, for example, is it the actual massaging that you like, or is it the development of growing your business that you like the most, and maybe teaching other people how to do that? Now, really think about what it is that the expertise and the knowledge that you have at the moment, and how you can maybe show someone else how to do something. Now, it took me, for me especially, the penny dropped when I was online and kind of researching how to grow my VA business. And kind of taking it to the next level, finding new clients and all that kind of stuff, and coming across programs and products online. And I was watching them and doing the work, and I was like, God, this sucks. Reading the program material, I was like, really? Like, what? I have actually learned nothing. And then I remember saying to myself, yeah, I could do this so much better. And it was that moment. I was like, oh, yes, I actually can. Like, I know how to write program materials. I know how to structure them. I know how to put them together. It took me a while. So it's that kind of process, maybe, that some people need to go through to be able to get there. But just thinking about what you actually know right now and how you could teach someone else to do that. that's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I like how you talk about, what are you good at and what excites you? Because I think the passion is key to it, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If there's no, I was just saying to my husband earlier that if there's no passion behind what you do, then you're not going to get anywhere at all, because there's no way that you can stay up, because we have to do late nights sometimes, we work around our family. There's no way that you'd be able to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, say, and carry on working knowing that you're tired already, but
Right.
you're really enjoying it. As much as your eyeballs are like
Right.
stinging, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to keep writing this email because I want to get it out, I want to send it out to my subscribers. That passion wasn't there, then you would have given up and you go back to a corporate job. Then it's not for you. It's not for everyone. It really isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's so true. Like, it takes a lot of determination and perseverance to keep going. And the passion is what drives that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like willpower for the sake of trying to get it done. Because eventually that's going to wear out, Like, to push forward without the passion, yeah, it's only going to last but for so long. I think the passion is the fuel that will keep you going, because sometimes I am tired, but I don't even think about how tired I am because I'm just loving what I'm doing so much. So
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably get tired for that first few minutes before I think, oh yeah, I've got to do that. And then once I sit down and it's like it's gone out the window, and then 3 hours have passed. I'm like, oh god, maybe it's time for bed.
That's funny. That's funny. So tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to work with you or find out more information about what you do.
Yeah. So you can head over to janetkafadar.com, find out more about what I do. I've recently just released my first one-day intensive program, which I'm so excited about. So that's on my website. And also, if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're a service provider and you're looking to put together your online product or program, you're not sure where to start, I've got a really cool, free, awesome workbook to help create structure and develop your program, so you can get started with that straight away. It's a good little resource.
Okay, and the workbook they can get on your website as well?
On my website as well, under the free workbook tab.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Did you have any last thoughts about courage or business that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I would say just jump right in. If you've got that fearlessness, or like, oh, I really want to do this, then just go for it. Like, just go out there, do some research, talk to some people, talk to some other entrepreneurs if you can find any. Or you can, there's so many. Ask questions, do a bit of digging, and see whether it's for you. Just take that leap of faith, because you can do it. If you've got the desire and the passion, then you can knock it out the park.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's a great way to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Janet. I think that was very helpful, and I hope everyone at home was listening.
Good, yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye.